What is going on, guys? And I can't tell you how excited I am that I am building an RMC on my Xbox. Like, that is absolutely insane, but that is what we're doing in this episode, and I'm just showcasing what I've done before. I mean, look at that angle. That B&M is beautiful. So is this wooden coaster. Just the fact we built both these on the Xbox looks amazing. Then we have our dive coaster right there, our little observation deck, and then the wing coaster that we just recently did. But today we are building an RMC hybrid, and to be honest with you guys, if you would have told me which coaster I would have had the most trouble with and which one I would have thought was the easiest, I would have told you the RMC hybrid would definitely have been the hardest, like most definitely. And I would have told you the easiest, probably the dive coaster. Now, I'm not going to say those are completely flipped, but this is the shortest video, like the shortest video I had recorded, and just fast forwarding it and all, it comes out being the shortest video I've done on these, which is absolutely insane, and I'm actually happy it came out that way. So of course I'm doing a nice little RMC pre-lift with some Airtime Hill, some that banks and then some that don't, like that, and then going into the lift hill. So just testing it, watching it go, seeing that it gives, you know, a little bit of airtime. It does go a little bit slow over the last one, so that one is honestly a little bit redundant, but not an issue. It's an RMC. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen the past videos, but I've been teasing this one. I've been teasing how excited I am to make this one, because I felt that this, I've said this honestly about every single ride that I've made, so let me shut up. But I felt like this one came out amazing, and I don't use the S word very much. I felt like this ride came out amazing, just like all of the other ones. And I don't I'm so happy to be building an RMC on Xbox. It's the most beautiful thing. Look at it. I mean, who knew that we'd be able to do this, and who knew that it would be better than doing it on the PC version of this app, or not app, of this game. But so first things first, we're gonna start out. We're gonna make a drop, and I'm gonna be honest, it's low key like a Wicked Cyclone mixed with Joker mixed with Twisted Timbers, because you see I use this inversion. I used this twice actually, even though the second time I should have just done an overbank turn, but I wanted to get to 3 inversions. So I have that, which does count as inversion as it goes fully inverted, and then the next thing I have after that is an Airtime Hill. And I don't know if you can tell, but the amount of space between the drop and going up into that inversion and then coming out of that inversion and going into that Airtime Hill is just so extremely tight. Like as tight as when I saw the first pictures of Steel Vengeances going into like that first little big massive Airtime Hill after that drop. Very tight. So that's going to be intense. They're going to throw some G's at you, some negatives and some positives. So what I really wanted to try after this was to make a wave turn, and honestly this takes the longest part of the video, because I really wanted to make sure I perfected this, because a wave turn, it's one of my favorite like RMC elements by far. So I figured out that I can't do it like this. If I don't end up going in a little bit before I actually get to the flat part, then it's not going to turn out good. So you actually have to do that on the turning piece and then I went out a little bit. And then I think after you do a little bit of smoothing here, I'm gonna see how it goes through it. That Airtime Hill, I do end up changing this friction again. I will say thank you to whoever commented. I'm sorry I don't have it pulled up. I did do some comment shoutouts, so I normally have it pulled up and right in front of me. But whoever's told me about the friction, I do end up setting this to, I think it's 0.8 or 0.9. And although there's already some sustained ejector on that first hill, like just saying that with 0.8, that might be one of the best like Airtime hills in the world if that were to be real. And there's also some insanely sharp ejector hills after this. But the reason I'm building this wave turn is because it's one of my favorite RMC inversions. And how many have I been on? Twisted Colossus, Twisted Cyclone has a wave turn. So did Lightning Rod, which was actually my favorite one. I was not a fan of Twisted Cyclones. I felt like that was overhyped. That's why I'm not doing like that sort of style of one. And what was the last one? Steel Vengeance, which actually I feel like that one's pretty good. You get a nice little pop on that one. So just watching it go through the pre-lift and then into the chain. So it's not a very tall RMC. And again, the fact that whoever, I have to look this up. I have to thank you right now for telling me about the friction, because that basically means I was worried about having to make like GCIs, because GCIs do such a good job at keeping their speed for the entire layout. And if I have to do, I would have to basically have a massive big hill and an entire small like rest of the coaster just to even do that. So the fact that I can do custom friction means that I am allowed to just like go slower, or just go not as high on a coaster and still have it go further. All right, excuse me, I have to look at this. Oh, it was the same guy who I shouted out in the last video, Tommy P. I appreciate you so much for it, man. I already shouted you out for complimenting me, but now this is a double shout out, bro, because I appreciate you for letting me know that. Alright, so I just did a little Airtime Hill right after that wave turn, and the next thing, man, I wish I could do a flatter 0G roll, and I'm just too lazy to build my own. Like, because every time I build my own inversion, you know, sometimes they come out good, but most of the time they don't. And this could also be the best airtime moment in the world. I definitely should have made those track pieces bigger, had the turn wider, and definitely had it go up higher. You guys are going to see this thing flies over that part right there. But I wish I could have a flatter 0G, because you're going to see it goes from the bottom of that airtime hill to just spiking straight up basically into that inversion, which is very unfortunate, and there's no way I can smooth that out. So I have that airtime hill, and then I have another airtime moment. And this ride is honestly extremely focused on airtime, and it's so short, but it's sweet. And you're gonna see, like, by the end of it, it looks so nice from the outside, because you can see the way the 3 laps of it line up perfectly. And that's why I could see it actually being an RMC, because it doesn't take up too much space. It's all within itself, and I love how neat it all is. And then we just place trees, and it ends up looking very realistic, and I'm proud of how it came out. Like, even now, just sitting and looking at that just looks absolutely amazing. Like, compared to, if you go back and watch what I predicted the RMC, like, Twisted Timbers to look like, I don't know if I titled it like King's Dominion RMC. I don't know what I titled, but a video a long time ago I made in Planet Coaster on the PC, because I wanted to guess what the RMC of Hurler would look like. Oh, I think it's called RMC Hurler, actually. So that video is still on my channel, and that video is terrible. The RMC is absolutely terrible. There's no speed. I think there might even be a chain lift, like, bringing it into the brake run, which was not very high, and it's actually not far off what it ended up being, but it's not very it's not very good at all. So this is the final lap before we're just gonna do a right hand turn that actually ends up being an inversion into the brakes. So I ended up making that little airtime hill, which I feel like, yeah, I was gonna say that's way too tall to be at that point in the ride. And that looks very sharp, but I feel like when I use a smoothing tool, it ends up not being as sharp. So I try to smooth out that transition going into the 0G, even though you really can't do that much. And then, just like in all of my other rides, I make sure I have the catwalk on. That's not like all of my other rides. Extending the brake run is what is common to all of my rides. And somehow, some way, I end up not having a straight friction brake. Like, I end up having to use a trim brake to go into. I don't know what happened, but I think I might have just deleted, like, the section that I added right there. And there is the glitch. This wouldn't be a Planet Coaster console video without the glitch where you select an inversion and you're not able to hit B, you're not able to move, you're not able to do anything. And the only way to fix it is to back out. So please, please fix that glitch. This is an amazing game, but that glitch is just pretty annoying. So instead of just doing like a regular overbank turn, which is honestly what I should have done, I end up doing another one of the inversions. And it doesn't end up coming out bad. It's actually extremely tight though. Like, I don't think an actual RMC train would be able to do that. And then to get into the brake run, I just end up doing a little, not trick track double up, but what I don't know what to call it. I don't know why I called it that, because I know that's not at all what that is. Like, thinking of Storm Chaser, that's not at all what that is. But just a little turnaround, it's a nice little airtime pop. Oh, is it it's not a stangle, but I've seen that before, and I know the name of it. It's on the tip of my tongue, and I cannot remember it. But here's when I have to make them trim brakes. I end up, first of all, redoing that part because it either flew through that or went through it too slow. And then just remaking this little airtime moment right into the brake run, and I end up having to make them trim brakes because for some reason that friction brake part like got deleted. So we're gonna smooth that whole section out, and boom, like that, 10 minutes of sped up gameplay and we already have the track completed. Like that, there is no coasters that I have built that fast. Like that's absolutely insane. And here's my first little test of it just to see. Oh, I didn't even write it. There we go. Oh, I have to restart the test. But to see where I need to smooth out specifically. I've gotten pretty good at using the speed up thing. Once you get the hang of that, it's actually a very useful tool. There's the wave turn. I actually think that came out pretty well. The inversion, that crazy airtime moment. I can't imagine if this looks sped up. And then that inversion into the... oh, that's when I noticed that there's no brakes right there. So I was like, what happened? It doesn't make any sense to go into the trim brake. And you see, I just got an achievement for making a coaster that has a lot of airtime. That's funny. But just doing some smoothing before I eventually add that brake, that trim brake, I think. Even like without the smoothing, I'm surprised how well that came out. But yeah, right there on this slope, I end up adding a trim just because I can't have it go straight into the block brake, especially how fast this thing is flying into it. That, yeah, no, that wouldn't work. Or it doesn't go extremely fast into the brakes, but just it's moving, so it wouldn't make sense to have the wheels in there. Why do I... for some reason the tests keep stopping, so I have to keep backing out and restarting them before I go back on the coasters. So that's why it's like I'm in the train and then I back out and then I go back in. I know that the Steel Vengeance train is in, but I don't know if like the next gen RMC trains are in as a whole. Obviously you can see like by the front of this train, it's like the older ones. And I have been saying RMC like I expect everybody to be watching this, a coaster enthusiast. I know some of you might just be, you know, Planet Coaster console watchers watching for gameplay, wanting to know how it is. And obviously I love the game, but RMC just stands for Rocky Mountain Construction. It's the company that builds the style of coasters that we're working on here, and they're great coasters. A little underhyped in some areas, but they're great coasters. Ooh, I do go back to the rock work. So I don't think I end up doing like just a straight line of rocks. I just do it in twos and leave some space for me to put trees as well. I don't know why, I didn't want to just put trees on this one. And I haven't looked at like the other kinds of scenery that they have, but maybe it might be worth looking into at some point. So I can't put the big tree there because that would get in the way, so I'm just going to put these little ferns here. And hopefully you can't hear my fan revving up on my laptop. One thing you won't hear a fan on, though, I will say right now, is the Xbox Series X. I cannot tell that thing is on. I can never tell. Even when I put my hand over, the air coming out is warm, but it's barely coming out. Like, the fan in there is absolutely massive. It doesn't have to spin very fast to be effective, and it's just a quiet system, even running this Xbox Series X version of Planet Coaster. So of course we have to have trees along the brake run. It would be a boring brake run if there's nothing around it. And we're getting pretty close to the POV. Like this is definitely the shortest one of these that I have made. At 16 minutes, or the POV starts about 16 minutes. And currently, this is the last coaster in this park. I might build an Intamin Giga because I want to do a B&M Giga for my sandbox that flies by the entrance. So I feel like an Intamin one would be cool. I thought about doing an Intamin Giga that flies by the entrance, but I was like, that would honestly be weird. Because the Giga is going to be a mix between, oh, there's that tree that I hate, and I should have taken note of it. But I want to make a mix of Millennium and Intimidator. So I feel like if I had like the low to the ground turn part go by the entrance, that would be cool. But just seeing that with the Intamin track would be weird just after seeing the entrance of Carowinds and Fury. So I decided not to do it. And this tree actually like fits. Oh, never mind. I was going to say it fits perfectly between the two, but it does not. So just going to add a few more trees along the lift. just so that there's not like a huge space. And there we go, like just sitting here and looking at this view, it's absolutely amazing. That's why I sped it up, just because I could sit here and watch this all day, just looking at the 3 lanes of it. And that's why I could see this being a realistic RMC. Just it's all so compact, and just within itself, it just looks really nice. Like I'm not even trying to toot my own horn. I'm surprised how well it comes out playing Planet Coaster on console. Like the fact that this is on my Xbox is amazing. And with that, we are getting close to the POV. Real quick though, like I was getting complaints about people not being able to use the not use the bathroom. And this one, I think they were hungry and they were thirsty. So I'm going to fix that, but I am going to cut to the POV. So there's the POV, and of course I have to fix that tree that cuts right into it. And you can literally just like see the effects of Planet Coaster friction there. Like it goes pretty slow through the last half, or not the last half, the last lap of that. I felt like it went pretty slow through there. So of course I put 0.8 friction on this. But the next video showcases how beautiful Planet Coaster is by showing like the off-ride shots and sounds from all of these. So be sure to check that out. But I will see you guys in the next video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Can you catch me?